this is the patient's perspective, and it's all about the experience of being treated with psychedelics. So unfortunately, one of our speakers had to drop out last minute yesterday, but we still have the wonderful Mark and Michael with us. So both Mark and Michael have had quite different experiences, and they've had a different experience of psychedelics. So Michael participated in a clinical trial, whereas Mark went to an ayahuasca retreat. But I am not going to tell you any more than that, because that is their job and it's much better in their own words. So I'd like to pass over to Michael, please.
Hello. Yes, my name's Michael, and it's a bit difficult for me to talk about some of these things because it obviously involves depression, and you know, I've had basically my whole adult life suffered with depression, and I've tried just about every treatment that's available to try and get some kind of sort of cure or remedy, you know, this kind of thing. I've tried the talking therapies and all the different drug therapies, and pretty much the talking therapies worked short term, but then, you know, things just went back to how they were. The drug therapies, they sort of leveled out depression, but they leveled out other emotions as well. Just basically turning into an unemotional kind of zombie, really. Which, you know, is not a solution, or wasn't a solution for me. And, you know, over the years, this just gradually got worse. You try to put a brave face on it. You try to sort of keep up appearances, as they say. And just nothing seemed to be working. And then in about 2007, it was, I was made redundant. And later on that year, my father passed away suddenly. Nobody expected that. So that sort of sent things down for a while. And then in 2013, my mother was diagnosed with cancer, and I became a carer effectively. You know, I just wanted to be there with her all the time, every, you know, possible moment kind of thing, for there to support her. And I knew it was going to take its toll, which it did. Because, you know, with the cancer, we never quite knew when it was. There was no sort of time frame put on it. It could have been a month, it could have been a year. So every day was difficult. And about 9 months to 10 months in, she got really bad with it, and she got taken into hospital, and she passed away in there. So as you can imagine, really, really tough times. And then shortly after that, maybe about 6 months later, because I do website work, I ran into this young lady, well, I say young, 30, 40-year-old, who wanted a website for a children's book. And I thought, well, this, you know, this is a project, I can work with her. And we became friends, and she was the opposite of me. She was full of life, full of joy. You know, couldn't have wished for a better kind of therapy from her, basically. And we worked together, got the website done. We used to speak just every other day on the phone as well. And then the contact after the website done seemed to fade away for a few weeks, and then it went into about 6 weeks, maybe 2 months. And then I got a message that she'd taken her own life. So the rug sort of went underneath me, and I just couldn't. I couldn't really deal with anything. I went to doctors and tried to explain. It was a rock bottom. There was nothing they could do, because they tried me with everything. So a bit later, I think, my memory's not that good on this, but I think I remember reading something in the paper about a new trial involving psychedelics that was happening in Imperial College. And I thought, well, I'll give that a go. I've got nothing else to lose. I've tried everything else. I didn't really expect much of it, and truth be told, I just thought, well, it'll be a fun couple of days to get me out of this rut, and that'll be that, and then no doubt everything will go back to how it was. Well, how wrong I was, basically. it completely flipped my world upside down. I was, you know, like preoccupation with sort of people had passed away and what's the purpose of life and all of these kind of deep questions. Seemed to be resolved from this session. I felt like I'd been taken to a place where, and I know this won't appeal to all, but where people go once they've left this life. I saw a sort of sneak peek of it. I felt like that's all I was allowed to see, but it was wonderful. Every I was going to say everybody, but everything there seemed to be happy, and then calm and peace and happiness and all the good things. And I just came out of it completely and utterly transformed. I went from somebody who didn't want to talk to people to feeling miserable about every kind of situation to the complete opposite. I wanted to talk to everybody. And I just felt the world was my oyster. I could do anything I could, I was happy, and I started conversations with complete strangers afterwards. Some of them were a bit shocked at that. And as I say, it just completely revolutionized the way I looked at things. And it wasn't sort of, the experience itself did that, but I felt like I was getting taught somehow. It's a really difficult thing to put into words. A lot of psychedelic experiences are, you're trying to describe things that there are no words for. And I was just a completely transformed person, as I've said. I went home. My girlfriend she couldn't believe it, the difference in me. And before I'd gone on the trial, the doctors had started me on I think it's called a cognitive behavioural session. And I asked the people at Imperial, should I go back to that? Because I feel like I don't need it anymore. And they said, well, you may as well, and see what they have to say. And my therapist there, she couldn't believe it. She just couldn't believe it. She was absolutely dumbfounded at the difference in me. It's cured, in her words. She said, like, that's it. You don't need to come here anymore. You sorted out. And she wanted to know more about the therapy and the psychedelic therapy, how it worked, what's involved. And, it just, ever since then, really, I mean, we were talking about 5 years ago, depression can come back, but I feel more able to cope with it, more able to deal with that now. And I feel as if I hadn't had that experience, I'd still be where I was. No real life to speak of. And the reason I've got involved with the psychedelic therapy side of things, I'm in the steering committee for the new trial that's happening at Kings College, is because it's going to be an answer. It's going to be an answer for all the people who are suffering like I was, and there's a lot of them. I mean, COVID has just sort of exacerbated that, I guess. People having to be, kept in all the time. And it's just so exciting to be kind of a part of this breakthrough, really. And it will, I mean, it's certainly for people who are resistant to the normal therapies, it should be a port of call. I wouldn't suggest it was for everybody necessarily, but gets my thumbs up, as they say. And going forward, all I see is positivity in in the research, in the way that there's more trials happening, and that there's a hope for people. That's the biggest joy I get out of it, is that there's people who have suffered or are suffering with this. There's light at the end of the tunnel, and this is the treatment. It may need to be tweaked around the edges a bit, but I think this could be it.